Okay, now that we've got the logo modeled, it's time to animate it. And the technique that I'm going to show you here is animating in reverse. So we know where the logo all the parts need to end up. What we want to do is we want to actually have them come together to that point. So we'll just set a keyframe for all this stuff right at where we want them to all be together. So I'm just going to pick 150 for a 5-second logo animation. And I've got all my objects selected, and I'm going to keyframe that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and set all of my objects out in space. I'm going to auto key it. But we don't know how far to take that. So let's go ahead and use our top view and set this up as a perspective window. And let's just establish our camera position. So we could, if we wanted our logo in the corner, we could put it, and have it set up in the corner, or we could have it in the center, or bottom corner. It just basically depends on the composition on where you need your logo to end up. We're just going to do something really simple in the center. This will kind of work out, and then I will create a camera, Control C, of that view. So now we've got our camera shot. We know exactly where the safe frame is going to be. All that stuff's really good. So now we can take our objects, and we know exactly how far to pull them out to get them out of the frame. So I'm just going to go ahead and take all my characters here with auto key on and pull them past the camera. So now I should have a 2-frame animation where the logo is flying back. Now what I can do is I can adjust the timeline so that they all kind of come to that point at different points in time. So let's say that we want the ring to be last. So I'm going to select the ring. I'm going to take the first keyframe, and I'm just going to say, well, it'll come in toward the end. So now it's going to come in at the very end. Maybe college can come in a little later. And then maybe baker can come in. And then we've got a little block element that can be maybe in the very beginning. So now they're all going to sort of fly in and land, all end up at the last frame at the same time. But there's a slight delay in how quickly each of these objects move. Now if we want some of those to actually land sooner and be waiting for the other elements to catch up, then we can move our end keyframe. So let's say that we want the college logo to actually land and be sooner. So let's say that we can move that. Maybe we do the same thing with the baker logo. Maybe have that land even sooner. This can be probably even sooner. So now we've got some motion for all the pieces coming together. That's nice, but it can be a little boring. Let's say that we want our lettering to be broken apart and be twisting and rotating and into the frame, tumbling. How do we do that? Well, right now we have the baker logo all as one object. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to break it apart. So when we break it apart, we're going to lose some animation that we already have on the object. So we'll have to redo that. Just part of the process. You didn't know ahead of time maybe that you needed to do that, but we'll do it right now. So we're going to select this object. We're going to make sure we're at the end frame, and then delete the keyframes. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to break these letters apart. So we're going to detach all of these. So they're all kind of broken out. Now what we're going to do is we got to redo, we got to reselect them. Actually, before that we need to center them. So let's go into our toolbox, transform toolbox, and we'll center the pivot. So we'll just select all these, center the pivots, and we're good to go. So each one of these, the pivots have been centered to the object, which will be very helpful for what we're going to do next. So let's go ahead and key all these. So we're just going to go and key these at 120. And now we're going to go ahead and redo our animation. Let's say we're going to do these 20 frame, 2/3 of a second motion past the camera. Keyframe that. Let's try auto key. Come on. You can do it. Alright, so we're going to go past the camera. There we go. So now we should have the Baker logo flying in. There we go. So that's what we want. Now we got to separate each of those letters, much like we did before. We just need to adjust the timing. So we'll go ahead and say that we've got the B. We'll just slide that toward the beginning. We'll take the A and the K. And the R. Looks like my E and the R are the same. That's not good. B, A, K. Okay, let's just have my E go a little sooner. Timing's like really screwy on that, isn't there? 10, yeah, I gotta tighten that up a little bit. So I'm gonna put them 10 frames apart, I think. Yeah, so there's a little bit better. Now they're all moving independently, which is great, but let's go ahead and add like some tumble to this letter. So I'm going to go to the very beginning of that frame, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate that. There we go. Okay, so there it is in the very first position. That's what I wanted. And let's just add a little tumble. So now as it's coming in, it's going to be a little bit kind of rotated. It's coming flying in. Let's do something with the B. So we'll go ahead and take the B. And that's the first frame is the beginning here. Now you can turn on this this key mode, and then you can have it go toggle right to the keyframes within an object, which is nice. So I'm just going to have it kind of do something like that. So that's fun. Now you can do things where you can have this kind of be rotating in. You can have the college. You can break that apart, or you could have it, rotated in. There's a lot of things you can do with logo animations, but right in here we've got a pretty good logo put together. So now you can go ahead and make a preview, save out the max file, and you're in good shape.